Hey friends, we're at the end of another week of learning. I just want to thank you all for all of your hard work at home. I know you've been working really hard. This week in text study, we read from two different texts. We had another story from Al at home, and we had our friend Brave Irene. And oftentimes what we do when we're at the end of a week of lessons and we're talking about two different stories is we compare and contrast the stories. That means we say what's the same, and what's different, and what's about the two stories. So we're going to do that today, focusing especially on two of the main characters. So for Al, we're actually going to go back to Al and the Guest, where we had Al in winter. We're going to refer back to that story. And of course, we have Irene. So we're going to talk about some things that they said and did in the story that were the same and different, of course, and really focus on their character traits. Remember, character traits are the ways that we can describe a character. So when we're comparing and contrasting, talking about same and different, we have a special tool that helps us organize those thoughts. And I'm going to pull it over. I actually had a friend who didn't know what this was called, and he's been watching some of our videos, and he said you guys helped him learn what this is and what it's called. So can you tell him one more time, loud and proud, what this diagram is called? It's called you can do it louder than that. It's called our Venn diagram. Yeah, and it helps us know what's the same and what's different between something. So we're going to use this again to help us. So let's think about our characters and what happened in the story. I already wrote down one for us. In both stories, the characters' feelings change. How did Al's feelings change, especially towards winter in the story? Well, I remember at the beginning, Al was being really kind and friendly and invited Winter in. So at first, Al was feeling friendly towards Winter. But then, what happened? We know Winter came in, destroyed his house, caused all these problems. So then Al felt angry. So Al's feelings changed from friendly to angry. And what about Irene? How did her feelings change in the story? If you remember, there was a part in the story at the beginning where Irene said she loves snow and loves winter. So that's how she was feeling at first. And then her feelings also changed because the wind and the snow, remember, blew that box away and moved the dress away. So then she also was angry at winter and the snow. And there was actually a part where she's yelling at Winter. So I have my evidence that could back up both of these things. Al, in the story at one point, he opens the door and he says, "Come in, Winter." And then when everything happened, he says, "Do not come back." And he kicks Winter out of his house. For Irene, I know she loves snow and winter because she said that right in the story. She said, "I love snow." And then there was another part where she yells at the wind and says, "You wicked wind." And she scolds it and says, "Keep quiet, you've spoiled everything," when it blew the box and the dress away. So those are some ways that the story are the same and different. Oh, but I noticed both characters at one point felt angry. So where should I put that on our Venn diagram? Yeah, in the middle. They both felt angry at one point. So their feelings changed and they started out feeling differently, but at another point in the story, they felt angry. So we're going to move ahead to some of our character traits, the words that we can use to describe these characters. And I have some written down. We're going to figure out where on the chart they go. So you have to think, does it apply to Al? Does it apply to Irene? And if it's both, then it would go right here in the middle. So the first one, I'm going to start with an easy one, is brave. Brave is a character trait. So let's think, was Al brave in his story? I don't really remember anything that Al did or said that made him brave. Was Irene brave in the story? Say, duh, Miss Miller. The story is called Brave Irene. So of course, Irene was brave. Let's look at another one. The word is kind. Let's think. Was Owl kind in the story? I think so too, because he welcomed Winter in. Was Irene kind in the story? yeah, she was helping her mom. She was helping the Duchess get the dress. So where should this go on our chart? Yeah, kind. Both characters show that they were kind in the story. Let's look at another one. How about determined? Which character, or both of them, was determined? What do you think? I would go with Irene. Even though it was really difficult for her to go through the snow and the wind, she was determined to get that dress to the Duchess. So Irene, another character trait for her, is determined. What about relaxed? You have to think about this one. Was Owl relaxed in the story? You might not remember, but in the beginning, he sat down and he was really cozy, getting ready to eat his soup. So he was feeling pretty relaxed. Irene was pretty busy and doing a lot to help her mom, and then she was in the snow. So I don't think she was ever feeling really relaxed. So relaxed would go to describe Owl. A couple more to finish off. Which character, or both, was helpful? Was Owl helpful? Yeah, tried to help Winter come in and feel better. So I think he was trying to help Winter. Was Irene helpful? For sure. She was trying to help her mom and the Duchess get the dress for the ball. So I think that one should go for both. Both characters and their stories were helpful. Which character was welcoming? You know that Owl invited Winter in. That tells me that Owl was welcoming. I didn't really see anything that Irene said or did that made her welcoming. So that one just goes for Owl. The last one. Loving. Which character was loving? Now, we know Owl was kind and helpful, but I don't think Owl really did anything that shows that he was loving. What about Irene? Was she loving? I think so too. And we can prove that. There's evidence right in the text where at the end, they're giving her compliments and saying how Irene is loving. So those are some character traits that we can use to describe these two characters from our stories this week. To finish up your activity, you're going to draw a picture. You can choose one or both. I did my best. I'm not a great artist, but I tried. So you're going to draw a picture of Owl or Irene, and then you're going to write in something that the character said, and then you can label it with some character traits to describe them. So there's my example for Owl. Here's one for Irene. So if I was using my Irene picture, I could write something that she says to her mom or to the wind, and then I could use one of these character traits. Brave, of course, title of the story, determined, loving, or these ones in the middle, because Irene was kind and helpful. If I was using Owl, write something that Owl says, and then a character trait to describe Owl. So again, I could use relaxed, welcoming, and Owl was also kind and helpful. Just like you've been doing, take a picture of your hard work, send it to your teacher so they can see it, and have fun with it. I enjoyed really coloring these pictures and thinking back on the story, so I hope you have fun with it too. Bye, friends!